Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Parkville Network.
Holy cow. PatandJT.com. Go there, and then you can find where everything is listed there. A place you shop, where we talk about stuff. We shop. You can text us. You can tweet us. It's all at PatandJT.com.
This is a very special episode because, and we've had like several, as a matter of fact, over the last few days, as far as the different guests that we've had. And this one, though, this has been a long time since we've talked to this guy, and had a chance to talk to Jon McLaughlin. And we'll go through where we first met him, how long ago that was, which is crazy. And I didn't get to mention to him that after we met him, and before it was after we met him, that I still had my MySpace page.
Yeah.
At that time, and his song "Beautiful Disaster," which did really well, and he has another song too that did. I can't remember what the other one was called. Hold on, I've got it here.
He had,
Human,
Indiana,
Industry, Beautiful Disaster.
Industry starts. It's one of the best openings to any song. Industry's great.
Great song.
Yeah.
So Close. That was in the movie Enchanted, as a matter of fact. But he had so many good songs. But the song "Beautiful Disaster," it's just a great story. It's a great lesson. It's just a cool song. But he had just released his first album. Anyway, we got a chance to talk to him for a little bit before he shows up at the waiting room tomorrow night.
Very excited.
Now I got to fix my hair.
We won't tell. It's okay. Awesome.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I don't know if you remember us a long time ago. I think it was in the summer, right? Like on a Saturday or during the day. You were in town at Stir. Yeah.
Was it amazing?
Yeah, it was incredible.
Was that like?
It was incredible.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Was that like the first time? Because the first time we were looking it up, as a matter of fact, the first time I saw you was in Kansas City, and you were playing with Johnny Lang.
Oh wow!
In 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to.
2007.
I literally had to Google it, and I found the tour dates. That was right after Indiana came out.
Yeah. That's right. That is the first tour I did after Indiana came out.
Isn't that
Johnny
crazy?
Lang.
And the reason I was down there was because the girl I was with, she was a huge fan of Johnny Lang's. And that's why she wanted to go down. I was like, I'll tag along, whatever. Let's go, casino. And so we went down there. And so, yeah, and I saw your opening. I was more impressed with your show than watching his.
Wow.
I wasn't, she was truly a fan of his. I was just like hanging out, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, you were awesome.
And then you were coming to Council Bluffs the next night to Harris.
Yeah, I remember that. God,
Yeah.
that is
TBT, right?
We did we did a bunch of casino on that tour, which were actually great. They were really great. I remember the first date that I had with him. I had never seen him before live, and my band was meeting me in Florida for our first date, and the van broke down in Atlanta, and so none of our gear was coming. I was by myself. I didn't even have any luggage or anything. I had one pair of clothes. So I had to I rented a keyboard from a local music store down the street.
That's crazy.
And played. And I was wearing my own t-shirt. This is so embarrassing. I had my own t-shirt on, and I was like, I can't wear my own t-shirt on stage. So I turned it inside out.
Did it say JMC is awesome?
Yeah.
Or JML. That's
first
it.
Impression. But I played that show solo, and then I went back to the soundboard and watched his show, and I literally cried.
Yeah.
Really?
In the middle of his set. It was so good.
Yeah.
Is he one of have you had those reactions before to other artists like that, where you have an emotional reaction when you see somebody? That's pretty intense.
I don't think I've ever had an emotional reaction like that to someone who I wasn't. I mean, now ever since I'm a fan, but I was aware of him, but I had never really listened to his music or seen him live. So it was I've had that kind of emotional reaction to people that I've opened up for who like Billy Joel, who I've idolized my entire life.
Right.
But to him, I was like, I kind of know his stuff. But then I saw the show, and I was like, people were standing up and raising their hands.
Like a religious experience.
Church.
Yeah.
And seriously,
It was
because he's
amazing.
never gotten the mainstream treatment that a lot of
Yeah.
people say he deserves, obviously, for good
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
And it's so, and I'm sure as an artist yourself, when you're watching somebody like that, it's like, man, you know, when somebody busts through, they really bust through. It is just so many things have to come together at the same time. But
Oh, yeah.
you still have that huge following that you're going to have. You have it. Obviously, Johnny Lang has it. But you're like, what does it take to that next level? Just to like, you're just to break through it. But it's
true.
amazing. Yeah, he is. He is a great performer, and I'm glad as heck that we went down to that because I was just glad that we got to meet you. And then it was like, oh my God, we got to have this guy on our show.
Yeah,
we got to
and-
have this guy on our
And you
show.
were nice enough to spend over an hour with us on a. It wasn't an off
I
day,
think
but it was
it-
a day you got into Omaha early, so we
The
appreciate.
next
No, it was
day.
hot that day, so hot.
Yeah, it was in June. I wrote it down. It was June 15th and 16th. I literally
Yeah.
looked it up. I found all the tour dates. I was like, oh my God, the internet is awesome.
The internet is
It never
awesome.
forgets.
Yeah, you have such a great connection with your fans, though. My wife and I were in Kansas City. You were just there in the fall, and we drove down and saw that little piano
Yeah.
bar. Yeah, so we were there, front row, no big deal, right there in front. And
I'm surprised you didn't come up and sit next to you.
I well,
that was you.
yeah, that was me.
That was you touching my leg the whole time.
I didn't think you ignored me. I didn't think you could feel it, but I tried.
I didn't know what to do, so I was like, I'm just gonna ignore him.
It's like hashtag me too.
Who's that guy's wearing his
Hello.
own T-shirt? He's not gonna mind.
You're like, I know that's your own shirt. Inside out, I can tell.
I can tell. I can read backwards. But I thought it was real. I thought it,
I'm not just saying this. That was actually one of, if I had to pick like 3 favorite shows of that whole tour last fall.
oh, really?
That was top 3.
That's
because
cool.
I never played in Kansas City. I mean, just already we've talked about 2 of my 4 shows ever in Kansas City in the last 15 years.
Oh, that's
So
incredible.
I was like, you know, we booked this show, and I was like, I have no expectations of the city of Kansas City. Like, will people come out? I don't know. And it was such a great crowd. I feel like sometimes when you do that, you get the people who've been waiting for like 9 years for you to come, and they're like excited. There's a good energy in the room.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah,
that's
I
good. It was,
loved
and when you got up and you got up, stood up on the table, and you had your guitar. It was just really cool. You have such that connection with your fans. Love your music, and you just have. It's like you really appreciate it.
You're
and it's
probably
cool.
right too about them waiting for you to come back because the first time you were there, it was like you were right on with the big word precipice of something huge. It was like your music started popping in TV shows,
Yeah.
movies. You know, you had several songs off that first album actually that did that. And it was everybody's like, at least on our end, when they would hear about something that was going on with you, they'd heard you on our show after you'd just come through. And then after June through that fall, it was like, oh my God, we just wanted to tell you that we just saw that Jon McLaughlin, da 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 da. And they were keeping track of you then. So they a lot of people probably were looking forward to seeing you come back.
that's great. Well, I'll be back
Good.
Well, and your
in less than 9 years.
your first date of this next leg of your tour or next
Me and my
tour
piano
is
tour.
at the Waiting Room here in Omaha tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, Wednesday
Yeah.
night.
Wednesday night.
Love it.
Yeah,
Do you know, is there still a chance to get tickets?
I'll be in the front row. I got the front 2 tickets. I'm in the pit, so I can touch your leg more.
Yeah. I'm gonna wear really thick socks.
I would too.
Good idea. Good idea.
I'm gonna double up.
Exactly. Oh my God, that'd be awesome. All right, so a lot of things going on for you. I mean, it's just, my gosh, we haven't talked to you, well, ourselves. We haven't been on the radio station for over a year. It's been a year and 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost 3, as a matter of fact, since we've had a chance to sit down and talk to you. You've got things going on your Patreon account, which I absolutely love.
Ooh, what is that? Talk about that.
Yeah.
What do you got? What are you offering up on Patreon?
So on Patreon, we're doing this series called Dueling Pianos. So this we started doing this almost 2 years ago, and so I have a different guest on each time, and we do a mashup. Sometimes we do a mashup of one of my songs, one of their songs. Sometimes we'll cover, a mashup, or something like that. So it's been really, really fun, and it's kind of flex this different muscle for myself and for them. Like we kind of get together and like we just see what happens, basically. You know what I mean? Like,
Are you guys like
That's
from
fun.
the same genre generally?
typically, but I would like to change that. Like I kind of want to find somebody as different as possible, and then get together in a room and just see what happens. You know,
Kind of
what I
like
mean?
your own Crossroads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's, it's been really, really fun to do. It was actually my management's idea, which is great because I never would have done it.
It's a great idea.
But it's a great idea, and it gives me like it's one of those things where it's like it's a continual series, but each time I do it, I love it. But beforehand, I'm nervous to do it every single time. Like every time, because you just don't know how it's going to go. And you can I might have an idea for something, but the best ones are when I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
literally just like, I did one with a guy the other day, this new artist. His name's Jordy Searcy. He's amazing.
Which, by the way, we might add, is going to be on your tour on a few dates as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I just saw some of the videos on your Twitter page, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Wow. How did you?
We just got together and the first song we knew what we were gonna do. The second song we literally just threw together, and it's my favorite one. So
That was a good instance too, where it's not necessarily always pianos.
right, yeah.
He's a guitar player.
He's
Maybe
a
he plays
great
piano
guitar player.
too, but
He actually can play piano, but he was like, I don't want to play piano. I'll just do guitar.
this is dueling pianos. I want to play my guitar.
So if you didn't, what's easier? Going from piano to guitar to piano. I would think if you learn to play an instrument, you can kind of have maybe a
Feel?
C grade on all instruments. Is that true? Like if I really,
I think that's
about right?
kind of true. I would definitely say I'm a C grade guitarist at best.
I think there were high B's in KC. I mean, it was not bad. It was pretty good.
Depends on the school system.
Were you
there
A's
go.
and B's, or were you ones and twos when you were in school? A,
I
B.
was A's and B's.
A's and B's.
Okay.
Were you in band in
Yeah.
school too?
No, I never did band. I
Seriously?
did jazz band in college, but I never did band like through high school.
You're
and
like
stuff.
that dude
Oh
in
my
high school
God.
that's 6'9" and never played basketball. Then he's a freshman in college. He's like, I'm gonna play hoops, and now he's in the NBA. Like you're never in band in high school?
That's the first time anyone has ever said you're like a 6'9", and then whatever.
Anything, right?
Yeah, whatever.
I just find it's crazy. Okay, you grew up in Indiana. Was it a larger school? I mean, we both come from smaller schools. It's like being out, you pretty much had to do everything. Otherwise, a teacher's going to get fired because everybody has. You better be in. You got to do drama. You got to do band. You got to go out for sports. Or we're going to have to fire the gym coach. Or
it was like a medium-sized school.
Okay.
It was definitely not like a giant, but it was like a medium-sized school where like you could go out for any given team, and you would, unless it's like the football or the basketball team, you'll probably be on the team.
Right.
You might not play, but
Sure.
But it wasn't like this, like a team where we have like JV and freshmen and like the B team. It's like we just have one team.
You had that team.
We had 8th graders on our varsity.
Right.
You know?
We had 8th grade girls on our varsity boys basketball team. Like it was like small.
Yeah. Right. Got to need some help, man.
Yeah.
Progressive.
Right.
Right. Didn't even know it. Did you start playing piano when you were young?
Yeah, I started really, really young. I was like 4 years old when I started playing. So I come from a really musical family. So even though I didn't do band in high school, I did choir. I did like show choir.
Yeah.
My family was way into show choir. Heavily into show choir.
Like scarily into show choir.
Like I can't ever run for public office.
Wow, that's pretty into show choir.
The matching show choir outfits will follow you your entire life.
Oh, yeah.
They just will. And then they show up in your timeline because somebody thought it'd be really cool to post them and tag everybody. Remember when? You're like,
I could see you doing something like Jason Mraz did, Sarah Bareilles a couple years ago with Waitress. You doing something on Broadway. Maybe you score a Broadway show, or you're actually in it for a while like he was. We were lucky. My wife and I were lucky enough to go out to New York when Jason Mraz was on Waitress for a while.
Yeah.
So I could see you do it. I mean, we've seen your videos on Twitter.
I would love to do that. I did a lot of musical theater growing up, and I loved it.
Maybe write a whole script around the phone glove.
which Sutter
Was it
Home.
the phone glove or the glove?
Glove
phone,
We
whatever.
never,
but
never nailed that down.
We definitely gloved it.
Yeah, we did glove
We
it.
gloved it. Yeah. Those were. How did that happen? And explain what that was for those who have not seen. You got to get. You probably have them on all of your social media, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the internet never forgets.
It's true.
And they're awesome. How did this whole partnership with Sutter Home come around?
It was so random, but I was going to do. Well, first off, I got contacted by someone representing Sutter Home, and they were like, "Would you want to do, some kind of a campaign with Sutter Home?" And I was like, "Well, we had a couple ideas." I was like, "It's all just going to feel weird if all of a sudden I do a commercial for some product out of the blue."
Right. Random.
So I was like, the only thing that I think would make sense is I'm going to do this like 12 Days of Christmas thing. That it's going to be. I was like, look, I really want to be upfront with you guys. It's going to be the dumbest videos ever. There's like, to be clear. But I can say like at the end of every video, like brought to you by Sutter Home. And they were like, oh, that's great. Let's do it.
Awesome.
So
And honestly,
that was it.
you may say at the time, I'm sure they were fun to do. They're hilarious.
They really are funny. Yeah. I mean, they're obviously dumb, but it's great.
It's really good stuff.
Like the glove phone. What was it? What's the line that I think is hilarious on that one? It's
Give up. Get ready to give up.
giving up your phone. I mean, it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
It was say goodbye to saying
Goodbye to your phone.
That's
Say
it.
goodbye. Say goodbye to your phone. It's the stupidest thing ever. So funny.
That was good.
But I had the idea for that when I went home for Thanksgiving. And I was like, everyone's taking my phone. I'm showing them pictures of like, here's my daughter, Livy at her school program, and then they take my phone for 10 minutes. I'm like, this
Scrolling
could
through
be a nice
everything.
thing for a video.
Oh, the anxiety.
I know, right?
Not that but just no. I don't want you in my phone.
No.
I just don't want you traipsing around in my phone. Speaking of your kids, too, by the way, how old are your daughters?
So Luca is 7 and Livy is 4.
Wow. It's an awesome age. It's a fun age.
Yeah.
Are they musical?
Super fun.
Piano
Musical,
at 4?
obviously.
Yeah, we have a piano in the house, and they're both mildly obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Like they play. They each know like a little bit of a couple songs. Like single note little things. Livy can play a little Tchaikovsky.
Good
Lord.
Wow.
Chopsticks.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
do
there
they
you go.
know more piano like songs or whatever on the piano than you did at their age?
Actually, no, because by the time I was Livy's age, I was already like in lessons and learning full piano. But I'm real like I feel like that's too early.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I feel like I'm waiting until they're a little bit older, like 8 or 9, to like start lessons. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
they're taking lessons whether they want to or not.
They just don't
So-
even know. It's
Well,
happening.
They are. They're in your house. So they're probably,
That's right.
they're seeing it all
Yeah.
around them. That's for sure. That's probably
Yeah.
why they are halfway obsessed as well, is because they want to be like dad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Play with the toy right now. It's a toy.
Are
I'm sure,
you
but still.
with the partnership with Sutter Home? Are you a wine person? She's a new wine lady. Like she's just getting into wines now. Are you a wine dude? Are you like a whiskey? You beer?
I lean more whiskey, but I do love wine. My wife is a wine lady.
Thanks for
Is
not
that the
saying
term that
wino.
we're using?
Wino.
Lady?
Thanks for
Wine-
not saying wino.
Wine person.
Wine.
Yeah.
Whiner.
There's too much to learn with wine though. Like wine, so it seems like it seems
You
really
like it or you
difficult.
Well, so a really good friend of mine started this music festival in Napa called Live in the Vineyard.
No, I've heard of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it for over 10 years, a long time. Yeah, 13 years, something like that. It's an amazing event. But I know her because she was a radio rep and worked on my first single. And so through her, I have played countless times in Napa Valley. And so I've got to know, all these winery owners. And, so through that, I've been around a lot of great wine, and it's like, it's hard not to become a wino.
Yeah.
When you go out to Napa a couple times.
And I'm
Like you're
sure
in.
you get gifted a few bottles
Yeah.
of really good
Yeah.
stuff. It spoils you because the really good stuff, there is a difference.
It's true. You can tell. You can definitely tell. But I'm still not one of those guys where I'm like, when they say like, now you're tasting, you can taste a little bit of the oak.
Right.
Like,
No.
I never know what you're talking
Like
about.
the note, they go like they gargle and they go, and they're like, oh, this was aged in a blah blah. There's just that's what I'm talking about. It's too confusing.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really have any desire to know that stuff.
No.
I just want to, but I'm fine to sit there and listen to them talk as long as I'm drinking the wine.
It's interesting.
Exactly.
It gets more interesting as the wine gets less and less and
It's
less.
like just keep pouring, bud.
It's like the
Keep
overthinking,
pouring.
like you were talking about your dueling pianos. If you overthink something and you think about it too much, you
Yeah.
just go and you just do it. It
takes all
always
the
ends
fun out
out
of
better than overthinking it. With wine, you overthink it, you overanalyze the notes and the this and the that. It's just not as
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah,
I'm with you.
I've discovered that there are some really good higher end box wines, and there are a lot of bonuses to having a wine in a box, as summer stuff,
Yeah.
pools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go
Uh-huh.
out, taking it with you places, that's a bonus. And they said that there are quite a few, and there are some higher end ones. There are some lessers as well, and there's nothing wrong with those. But yeah, just
Right.
kind of figuring, and I kind of like the box thing too because I hate having so many empty bottles, and so
Yeah.
So 100 empty boxes is much better. They stack easier in the garage.
recyclable.
They're easier to hide.
Very much easier to hide.
Break them
Take
down.
that bag out inside and put it in your purse.
Put the bladder in over here. You break down the box. You put it between a couple chewy boxes. The dogs are taken care of.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
No one
knows.
Nobody
knows.
has to know.
Nobody
No.
knows. Oh my god.
So are you worried about coronavirus at all, John?
You know, I'll be honest. I'm not really.
Okay.
Not really worried about it. Even though I am. The only thing that makes me worry a little bit, because I tend to just not worry about that kind of stuff. But the only thing that does make me worry a little bit is I'm getting ready to travel a lot,
Yeah.
obviously. And I don't want to bring it back and get my kids sick. And I don't want to get someone else sick, you know.
exactly.
And I also don't want to end the tour in like Fort Lauderdale, which we're ending the tour in Fort Lauderdale, and get it or something, and then I have to like be quarantined for 2 weeks.
After being on tour for a long
being on
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be
That
rough.
would be the worst.
It
I
would
don't
probably
want that
be
to happen.
helpful if people weren't touching your leg while you're performing.
Well, I'll touch it with my elbow. You're not supposed to touch it with your hand.
That's
So,
what.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
it's okay.
If you
as
see me
long as you're
nubbing
doing
your
it the
leg
right
on
way.
Wednesday, I'll just I'll
Nubbing?
nub it. I'll nub your leg like that. Like,
Just
oh,
like,
thank you.
look, It's fine that you're touching my leg. Just be respectfully.
Do it with your elbow.
respectfully.
Don't use your dirty hands.
Respectfully
you filthy
fondle me with your
animal.
elbow.
I want to see you putting the disinfectant on your elbow.
I will.
Then touching my leg.
I will. I will do that on Wednesday.
Please get that
no
picture.
problem. I will.
Please get that
I'm sure the
picture.
police will.
Front page.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. Former radio dude.
Yeah. Arrested for elbow fondling. John
Elbow
McLaughlin.
fondling. Well, it might be ankle fondling. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, good deal. So we're excited to have you back in town.
Yeah.
And like we said, Pat's going to be front row.
We'll see you. Beth and I'll be
So-
there, and we'll see you.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I love coming to Omaha.
Fantastic.
And we love having you here. Would you do me a favor and just say hi to my wife because she's a huge fan of yours? Just gonna say hi to Beth Safford.
Hey Beth, it's John. That's it.
That's perfect. I'm gonna
Man,
get some
you were
loving
coming-
tonight.
That's it.
Yes, that's it. Thanks, John.
That's as good as I can do.
That's no problem, buddy. That's good
That's
enough.
all right. You're fine.
That's all I need.
Thanks so much for being on our podcast.
Thanks, John.
Guys, thank you so much for having me.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Parkville Media Production.